Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Papa's Workshops. These are for Adam, Brady, Luke, and Brenna. But before we get started, we need to check in with my new apprentice, wherever she is. There she is, already working on the wood. I'm not sure what she's making. I think it's just a mess. Would you like a little treat? This is Rosie. She's just a titch over 4 months old. Now, ready to get to work? All right, well, here you go. Right there. Right there. Well, this episode we're going to finish up the column or part of the pedestal. Just got those bead or lobes in the middle to do. And then we got to start working on the 4 brackets that support it. So, and that's quite a bit of work. I don't know that we'll get all of that done this episode. I don't want to make the videos too long, but we'll get a fair amount. So let's get to work. All right, we're going to rough out the lobes on this pedestal. I got some done on this side. I don't think that shows on the camera. And last episode I made saw cuts here to just a little bit down to kind of define those lines before they got erased. So just a matter of taking the gouge and roughing those out a little bit. All right, I got it all roughed out, and so I've got it standing up now. It's easier to get this top, so I'm going around and making sure this top edge is the same all the way around. Then I'll flip it and do the same thing on the bottom, but not spend a lot of time because you won't see the bottom. And then I'll go over the last, put it back on its side and make sure these are all, the tops of these are right. So yes, you get a little bit of trimming to do there. So then we'll be able to go on and work on the brackets. All right, we got the beads all done here on this. We got the anthus leaves all carved. And so we're ready to do the brackets. And so here's one, just a little practice one to give you an idea what it's kind of going to look like. So I have got the outlines roughly there. So what I need to do is make this part nice and smooth on all of them. This is all going to be carved, so I probably don't have to worry about that, but the bottoms are pretty flat, so I need to get the marks out of those. And then I think I will take a round over bit and hog off a lot of this just to get me down closer and uniform, because it needs to be rounded. So I'll do that on all 4 of them, get to that point, smooth the flats and get the round over bit, then we can start some of the carving. All right, I got all 4 of them. I took a round over bit and just roughly got that part. What I should have done before I did that, I marked the center line, but I need to mark, see this distance here, but I need to mark it down this far. Just kind of do it like that. And then we'll take a rasp and round it over to that line. It's just a matter of taking this down. So we get it all rounded. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this is kind of what it looks like. So then we'll have to do our leaf profile on this, draw it out. But we're just getting it rough. So it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I do have I did use a guide to kind of get me close. But like I said, we're going to be carving the shape of the leaves. So it doesn't have to be absolutely round. So I've got to do that on all four. Okay, with all of them rounded, it's time to draw the outline just of the leaf, the edges is mostly. So I just took off of the pattern, I took some plastic mylar sheet, made a pattern. So I just traced that on there, and then that gives me the edge. And then I'll just connect those two with this there and in the back. So next, with that done on all four of them, I need to lower. This was my little test piece, just roughly out. But see, I need to lower this area in here, maybe 1/8 of an inch to give me the look I'm looking for on this edge here. So that's kind of in the red. That's kind of what I need to lower. Now I don't need to go, if I lower, I need it to be about 1/8 of an inch along this edge, but then it can kind of taper up and then kind of taper up. I think what I might do is just make a quick template of this edge and then take a router and just lower that. But I don't want to get right up to the edge because it's got to be curved, right? So we need to be, maybe 1/4 inch away from that line so there's room to make the sweep. But since I got 4 of these to do, that would remove a lot of material that I would have to chisel out by hand. But obviously I can't go too far up in there. So I think I just go like up into there, and then we'll start gradually tapering it. And then of course we'll have to, but this will give us, with this lowered, this gives us more room to curve those leaves kind of down, make them look a little more realistic. But this is going to take, even when we lower this part, we still need to round. We need to relieve this, just a 1/16 of an inch probably here, but then make this round with this now narrower surface. So we got a lot of chopping out to do there. So let me make a little template and we'll see how that works. All right, so I got the template made. Just glued a piece of paper down to 1/4 inch MDF. And I've got these little holes here so I can kind of line it up on the blank. So I got it in the carving vise to hold it, such an odd shape. So I can just line up, focus there, see there, I got it half the hole. Get more light in there, all right. So I'll just stick it on there with double-sided tape, and then I've got I have to use my big router because that's the only one that my collets, the bushings fit. So, and we're just going to go 1/8 of an inch deep in this area in here. So real quick. All right, we got this area recessed on all 4 of them. So now I'm going to do the next stage. And again, if you watched my other videos, we're going to do the same thing to all 4 of them, one step at a time. So what we're going to do is round this from right there back to get it even with this now narrower body. And curve it down around there. And then we'll take and make this curve all the way up around in there on both sides. So we're going to do that to all 4 4 of them. I'm going to start with this area here. I'm going to kind of rough it with the rasp, and then we'll concentrate on getting this area. Then I can work up into that corner. That's my assistant. She thinks she needs to be out of confinement. She's over there. She kind of gets into about everything that she can find. If you can see, my mats are been a little degraded. Anyway, so let's get to that. All right, I forgot to mention, I lowered it right here where this leaf is going to end. So I had to lower that about 1/16 of an inch and then remake this curve. So I did that first, then remarked the center line, then used the rasp to get the most of it off, and then followed up with the file to get it close. I've got a template, and I'm not looking for absolute perfection, but at least symmetrical. So I'm pretty close. So I'm at a point where I can take the scraper and get the last of those marks out of there from the file. And that'll get enough roundness that we're looking for. So now I got to worry about getting it all smoothed in around here. That's next. All right, so I got that all done. So that's kind of what it looks like. Got that rounded up in there, and we still have more work to do on the tops of these, but for right now that's good. So now we need to work on this edge and then the recess up through there on both sides. All right, since we got them all finished up here, the next step is I'm going to take and lower this area in and around all of these. I'm not going to spend a lot of time getting it perfectly flat, but I just want to kind of rough it out. We still have to shape this some more and up in the front here. So right now the goal is to get all of them lowered just in this area all the way around to this, and kind of define where these lobes are going to go. So got some chopping to do. All right, there's the first pass. So I will probably hit those again with the gouges to find that edge and get it down the rest of the way. I use a vernier tool to kind of get a lot of the waste out of there. Where's my vernier tool looks like that. I don't know if I can get it to focus. You know, cherry grains going all different ways, so that way it does a good job of taking it out without worrying about the grain. So, like I said, I'll hit those again to get it down lower, and then the last little bit I'll just do with the gouges and, you know, kind of carve it out of there. But you get the idea. We just got to get down to kind of this level all the way around to there. All right, so I turned it around so I get a better angle. So I pretty well got this area where I want it. I mean, it still needs to be smoothed out. So I got to finish this line here and take the V tool and define these two lines here. Then we'll be ready to do the front end of this. I've already done the other side, so now we'll work on one of the two come together. But first we got to get this right here straightened out. And it's just a matter of bringing this in like this. Now this edge here on the outside is going to be rounded a little bit because it comes out into this full curve here, so we can we can kind of just take a little bit off here to begin with. We'll refine it more later, but since we're right here. Going the wrong way. Anyway, that gives me a little, I can get in there deeper. And the same with this, we just round this off just a little bit. Anyway, I need to get around the other side. Anyway, you get the idea. So we'll take the V tool and do that. All right, we pretty much got the side done. So that's kind of where we're at. See, everything's just kind of roughed out. So now we'll work on this front part, and then we got to do a lot of work in the back. But we'll get this so that everything is kind of roughed out, and we do that on all four of them. So it's the same kind of process. I'll define those edges and then work my way up to it. Here's a quick look at how it's looking. Of course, we're not done with the brackets yet, but it's looking pretty good. All right, we're ready to start on this back side. So I've defined this area here and cut it back a little bit. So what has to happen is I need to narrow this section right in here, taper it, but it needs to be narrow, and then this, make this arc match that, and then this has to be rounded so that this looks all out of this one flute is rounded. So this has to be cut back, and so this is the picture. See, so we got to make this look like everything's coming out of this flute or leaf or whatever, and then this just a little piece on the back. That's where we are. So we gotta, I think what I'm gonna do is just take probably the file and taper this flat edge. Then we can take and round it both ways. Once that's kind of done, keeping this edge sharp, we'll work on this section here. All right, so we got it done to this point, so that's pretty well rounded. So now we need to take these two sides and round those and make this a nice curve and expose this part here, so it'll look like this when we get it done. This all as a curve around there, so it's just a matter of shaping that. I dip this a little bit, give it a little more shape to it. All right, I'm going to round this just like I did the top. I'm going to do that, and so this is kind of what it will look like. Whoops, gotta get it upside down right there. So we just got to round that just the same way, and I think that's a good place to stop so this video doesn't be too long. So next session we'll finish these up by making the detents in this front, and then of course we got to actually carve the leaf. So thanks for watching. Sorry this is delayed, but I got a lot of things going on, and then a new puppy on top of it. She takes up a lot of time. Until next time.